Have you ever heard a name that sends a shiver down your spine? A name that instantly conjures images of foggy London streets, gaslight lamps cutting through the gloom, and a terrifying, shadowy figure. Today, we're delving into one of history's most chilling and enduring mysteries, the story of Jack the Ripper. The year is 1888. London's East End, specifically the impoverished district of Whitechapel, is a place of stark contrasts. While London is the heart of a vast empire, Whitechapel is overcrowded and riddled with poverty and despair. For many women, survival is a daily struggle. It's in this grim setting that a series of horrific murders began, forever searing the name Jack the Ripper into the annals of criminal history. It all started on August 31st, with the discovery of Mary Ann Nichols, known as Polly. She was the first of what would become known as the canonical 5 victims. Her death was brutal, but it was only the beginning. Just over a week later, on September 8th, the body of Annie Chapman was found. The pattern of violence was escalating, and a terrifying realization dawned upon the people of London and the police. The serial killer was on the loose. The killer was audacious, taunting the very people trying to catch him. The name Jack the Ripper actually came from a letter, purportedly sent by the murderer himself to the Central News Agency. It was signed, "Yours truly, Jack the Ripper." Whether this letter and others that followed were genuine or cruel hoaxes is still debated today, but the name stuck, adding a layer of ghoulish personality to the faceless terror stalking the streets. The panic in London reached a fever pitch on the night of September 30th, and what became known as the double event. The killer claimed 2 victims in a single night, Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. The murders were committed just minutes and a short walk apart. A display of shocking boldness that left Scotland Yard baffled and the public utterly terrified. The killer seemed to move like a ghost, vanishing into the labyrinthine alleys of Whitechapel without a trace. The final canonical victim was Mary Jane Kelly, and her murder on November 9th was the most gruesome of all. And like the others, who were killed outdoors, Mary was attacked in her own room. This allowed the killer an unprecedented amount of time, and the scene that greeted the police was one of unimaginable horror. After Mary Kelly's death, the murders abruptly stopped. Just as suddenly as he appeared, Jack the Ripper vanished. So, who was he? This is the question that has fascinated historians, detectives, and armchair sleuths for over a century. The list of suspects is long and varied. Was it a doctor or a butcher? Someone with anatomical knowledge? Suspects ranged from Montague John Druitt, a barrister and schoolteacher whose body was found in the Thames shortly after the last murder, to Surin Kosofsky, also known as George Chapman, a Polish immigrant and convicted poisoner. Some theories pointed to more prominent figures, like Sir William Gall, the royal physician, as part of a complex conspiracy to cover up a royal scandal. Others suggested a less sensational explanation. Perhaps the killer was simply an anonymous resident of Whitechapel, a face in the crowd who was never suspected. New suspects continue to emerge even in the 21st century, with modern forensic techniques like DNA analysis being applied to old evidence. Though results have often been inconclusive or controversial, the investigation at the time was the largest manhunt London had ever seen. The police, led by inspectors like Frederick Aberley, interviewed thousands of people and followed up on countless leads. But they were hampered by the limitations of 19th century forensic science. There were no fingerprints, no DNA, no sophisticated methods of evidence collection we take for granted today. The killer left behind a legacy of terror, but very few concrete clues. The Jack the Ripper case had a profound impact. It shone a harsh light on the terrible living conditions in London's East End, prompting social reforms. It also revolutionized police work, highlighting the need for better investigative techniques and forensic methods. The press coverage, often sensationalized, created a media frenzy that set a template for how true crime stories would be told for generations to come. More than 130 years later, the mystery endures. The identity of Jack the Ripper remains one of the greatest unsolved puzzles in history. The case has spawned countless books, movies, and documentaries, each offering a new theory or a different perspective. It is a story that taps into our deepest fears, the idea of a faceless evil that can strike from The shadows and disappear without a trace. The victims Polly, Annie, Elizabeth, Catherine, and Mary Jane were real women with lives, families, and stories of their own. It's important to remember that beyond the sensationalism and the mystery, this is a story of human tragedy. They were not just names in a cold case file. They were victims of a brutal predator whose crimes have, paradoxically, made him immortal. Why does this story still captivate us? Perhaps it's the perfect storm of a historical setting, a terrifying villain, a baffling mystery, and the eternal question, who was he, and why did he do it? It is a dark chapter of history that serves as a chilling reminder that some questions may never be answered, and some shadows may never fully recede. What do you think? Do you have a favorite theory about who Jack the Ripper was? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. The discussion around this case is as fascinating as the case itself. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to Victorian London. If you found this story as intriguing as I do, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into historical mysteries. We'll see you in the next video.